David Schwartz said that in 2023, 6 million people who own Ripple XRP will be very wealthy. In a tweet on Saturday, Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, said that the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission has forgotten about its responsibilities to consumers even though it is still enforcing rules. The price of XRP as of today is $0.35, and the trading volume for the past 24 hours is $136 billion. We're updating the US dollar price of XRP in real time. XRP is down 30% in the last day and a half. World Crypto Finance. If you liked this video, don't forget to like it and sign up for the channel. Do you agree with the analysts about XRP? Write your answers in the comments, and I'll give you 500 XRP. At the end of the week, XRP coins will be sent to a random subscriber. Check out the comments for how to do something. You just have to write the word XRP. See the whole video to like and subscribe. In the past few days, the Relative Strength Index, RSI, has not been clear. Last week, the RSI held a value of 50, which is a neutral value, as support. However, this level has not been passed recently. So, there could be some ups and downs over the weekend. Also, the Awesome Oscillator, AO, was below zero, but it hasn't yet shown a strong bearish impulse. The /D line had a resistance zone right above it, which was shown by two white lines with dots. If a /D can get past this area, it will show that demand for the XRP rally is strong. The Directional Movement Index, DMI, showed that there wasn't a strong trend because it was at level 20, just above the 20 mark, and the color was yellow. Technically, this meant that there was a downward trend, but it also meant that there hadn't been a big trend in the last few days. In the next day or two, the 35 to 36 cents range for Dash will be important to protect the bulls. If a lower low forms below this area, it will mean that sellers are getting stronger. On the shorter time frames, momentum indicators were not clear. Bitcoin could also have a big effect on where XRP goes in the near future. Today, the nonprofit Blockchain Association asked for permission to write a summary of the lawsuit between the Securities and Exchange Commission and Ripple Labs. This will give more information about how the agency's arguments in the case may affect the crypto industry as a whole. If it is approved, the group's arguments will be taken into account when the court makes a summary judgment based on the amicus curiae note that was sent along with it. These kinds of summaries can put the facts in a new light and help us understand them better, but they can't add any new facts or evidence to the case. The U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York recently reached the summary trial stage of a case. Both sides argued that the trial wasn't necessary because the facts weren't in dispute. Instead, they asked the judge to decide the case based on the facts that had already been presented. The Blockchain Association, a lobbying group based in Washington, D.C., wants to explain what the ruling could mean for the crypto industry as a whole. It wouldn't be too much of an exaggeration to say that the decision in this case, if it isn't based on specific facts and legal issues that are minimally needed to solve this case, can have very bad effects on the trillion-dollar industry. Given that blockchain technology has a lot of uses, this could hurt a big part of the American economy in the future, the Blockchain Association said in a statement supporting the report. The proposed review includes examples from the industry that show how tokens are used outside of what is considered an investment contract. The SEC sued Ripple for the first time in 2020, saying that it had not registered its XRP token as a security. Since then, during the trial, the SEC has said that XRP is a security both when it was first issued and when it was sold on secondary markets. The SEC has a harsh view that a token that was sold as part of an investment contract can't be separated from that investment contract even if it is sold later. Even if none of the original buyer's legal rights are transferred with the token, it will almost ruin an entire industry. The amicus report says that the summary tries to give an idea of which parts of the industry might be affected by what the report calls poorly defined rules for using tokens. He also doesn't agree with the SEC's history of making public statements that are inconsistent, incomplete, and hard to understand. The SEC thinks that market participants can't just follow securities laws, because securities laws don't take into account how an asset that could have been issued as a security can still exist when it's no longer tied to any kind of investment contract. This is important to keep in mind when trying to use the Howey test. Judge Annalisa Torres of the U.S. District Court granted Investor Choice Advocates Network and Spend the Bits requests to file amicus curiae briefs in support of the Ripple blockchain company, which has been fighting an exhausting battle with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission for almost 2 years. Eleanor Terrott, a reporter for Fox Business, talked about how strange it was that Jay Clayton and William Hinman were in a position where they accidentally helped Ripple. Tara sent the tweet former SEC Chairman Jay Clayton, who started the lawsuit against Ripple Labs, Brad Garlinghouse, and Chris Larson by saying that XRP is a security, is now supporting Ripple in a roundabout way. He does this while working at Electric Capital, which is part of the Crypto Council for Innovation. One of the companies that decided to ask Ripple Labs for help was the Crypto Council for Innovation, or CCI. Clayton became a consultant for the Electric Capital in August of this year. Irony and all its glory, Jay Clayton and Bill Hinman are now unintentionally helping Ripple because they are both members of the Crypto_Council and have ties to that Electric Capital ended a 16Z. In this way, CCI shows what industry veterans think. William Hinman, who used to be in charge of the SEC and gave a speech in 2018, this company and Electric Capital are members of the Crypto Council. Ethereum and Acid, which have nothing to do with securities, joined the board of Andreessen Horowitz. This organization was one of the 4 that asked the fintech company Ripple for help in the last 24 hours. The other 3 were the Coinbase Exchange, the venture capital firm Bell Hill Capital, and the founder of Crypto Law, John E. Deaton. This was posted on Twitter by James K. Phelan. The hashtags are #community, #SEC, #Ripple, #XRP. Justice of the Peace Ned Byrne agreed to the SEC's request to change 2 drafts of Hinman's speech in June 2018 that talk about upcoming decisions by the SEC. In an application from October 21, 2022, the SEC showed 2 proposed changes to the documents that it wants to make. The SEC says that, in accordance with the court order from July 12, 2022, the 2 proposed changes talk about the agency's unresolved problems. The Securities and Exchange Commission politely asks for a closed review of the proposed changes to 2 drafts of Director Bill Hinman's June 2018 speech. These drafts talk about decisions that the Commission is about to make. After looking at the proposed changes, the Securities and Exchange Commission said in a statement that Magistrate Ned Byrne agreed to the SEC's request to change 2 drafts of Hinman's speech in 2018. So ordered, the plaintiff's request to make the above changes has been granted. The Justice of the Peace ruled on the Ned Byrne. Hinman used to be the SEC's Director of Corporate Finance when the board was led by Jay Clayton. In June 2018, he gave a controversial speech in which he said that Ethereum was unsafe because the cryptocurrency registry had become decentralized over time. This made him well known in the cryptocurrency industry. After the SEC said that Ripple was selling securities that weren't registered, the blockchain company asked the agency for drafts of Hinman's controversial speech in 2018. But the SEC was not ready to give up, and it took a lot of steps to stop Ripple from taking the drafts. After fighting 6 different court orders for 18 months, the SEC finally gave Ripple the documents, but internal emails and drafts of Hinman's speech are still secret. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse said about the event that the SEC wants you to think that it cares about disclosure, transparency, and clarity. Don't agree with them. When the truth comes out in the end, you will be shocked by how awfully they act here. The Securities and Exchange Commission fought against Ripple's request for a summary trial. The commission said that the defendants were selling securities without being registered to do so. She also said that Ripple gives the impression that they know they won't pass the Howey test. The SEC says that Ripple's analysis of the Howey test shows that the blockchain company was trying to make its own test based on a state law from before 1933 by taking 2 words out of context and then showing that they passed the test. The Securities and Exchange Commission said that XRP is a security because most ripples are made up of XRP. In exchange for money, sales were made, and buyers also put money into a business venture with each other and Ripple. The SEC also said that Ripple's management made investors think that XRP would make them money. Lastly, the individual defendants' claims that some of the XRP they sold or gave away was not for their own use are also not valid. The SEC said that soon after the drafts of William Hinman's speech were given to them in 2018, the SEC sent proposed changes to 2 draft documents for careful consideration. In June 2018, the Securities and Exchange Commission sent proposed changes to 2 drafts of Hinman's speech to the chamber by a justice of the peace Ned Burden. The speech was about decisions that the Securities and Exchange Commission was still thinking about. According to a court order from July 12, 2022, the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, wants to change the documents because they talk about SEC issues. The SEC is the Securities and Exchange Commission. An excerpt from the Securities and Exchange Commission's petition says, respectfully submitted for a close look at the proposed changes to 2 drafts of Director Bill Hinman's speech in June 2018, in which the Commission's decisions are discussed. According to the SEC, a court ruled on April 11, 2022, that the agency could ask employees to edit messages in which they talk about how Hinman's speech could affect other agency cases. The SEC is sending in these 2 documents with the proposed changes highlighted in yellow on page 6 of Record 29 and page 5 of Record 35. It wants these 2 documents to be changed as needed. He came to the conclusion that the proposed changes were given to Judge Sarah Nett Byrne to think about. In the next few days, Ripple should say something about the SEC's request. According to reports, the Securities and Exchange Commission finally gave Ripple drafts of Hinman's scandalous speech to the media. After more than 18 months and 6 court rulings, Judge Annalisa Torres gave us Hinman's documents in 2018. These included internal SSC emails and drafts of his famous 2018 speech, said Stuart Elder Rhodey, Ripple's general counsel. What do you think XRP will be like in 2023? Write what you think will happen in the comments. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. Please remember to like it and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new videos. Also, don't forget to enter our contest in the XRP comments to get 500 XRP added to your account.